Hello friends, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365, and today I'm going to review the animated version of the Addams Family. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit that bell notification. I put out videos every single day. You can also find me over Twitter and Instagram at Movie Guy 365, as well as over at the Disney Magic Hour podcast. I will leave a link for that in the description. Alright, so the Addams Family, the animated, I wouldn't call it a reboot, but the animated telling of the classic family from the original comic strips, the TV show, to the movies. They've been part of popular culture for decades, and I was very cautiously optimistic that we were going to get something good here as far as, representation of the Addams Family and like the spirit. And, as far as an animated movie goes, typically that could go pretty horribly wrong if you're taking a more, more kind of, I wouldn't say it's an adult, but a more adult sensibility as far as a franchise goes. And because if you go back and watch, of course, the films and the TV shows, they have a bit of an edge to them. Yeah, they were definitely family kind of friendly property, but I still feel that there's some good adult humor in there, and I was afraid that was more or less going to get lost in the animated feature. Now, so as far as the film goes, does it alleviate my fears? I would say mostly yes. As far as the plot of the film goes, essentially the Addams Family they start from their beginnings. Morticia and Gomez get married, and they're run out of their home, and they try to find a new place to set up shop. And you get a little bit of a Hotel Transylvania vibe. If you've seen that movie, it definitely kind of starts out the same way. So, and then of course they bring it to the more or less present, which is about 13, 14 years later, and the family's fully formed. And of course new problems start to arise when a TV show, think of HGTV, is trying to remodel an entire town and trying to invest. She's invested in all these homes. She wants to remodel with her brand, and of course, the Addams Family being up on the spooky hill is definitely not on brand. So we have a little bit of conflict there. Now, as far as the story itself goes, we've seen this story many times, and I'm talking about just the overall plot. And honestly, it's not inherently interesting. Actually, the plot of the movie is probably the least interesting aspect of the whole thing. What really works for me are the jokes. I think the jokes really work for me. They really have a lot of those throwaway quick gags. I think some of them are hilarious. And of course, some of the side plots I think are a lot more interesting. The side plot with Gomez trying to teach Pugsley, and Wednesday trying to find her place in the world, a world of just normal. And I think that one kind of is a little bit of the weaker of the plots as well, because they don't really kind of bring that to fruition. It's just kind of like, oh, she's wearing a bow in her hair. I know it's trying to seek for her mother's approval and that sort of thing. And I feel some of the punchlines do work, but for the most part, I think that particular storyline, it just didn't really feel satisfactory to me. But as I said, here's what really works for me. The characters themselves are amazing. I think the voice actors are great. Everybody from Charlize Theron, Oscar Isaac, Chloe Grace Moretz, Finn Wolfhard, I think they all work. I think they all bring some kind of gravitas to the roles, and they don't play it down. They don't play towards necessarily kind of a kid's kind of mentality, like a kid's audience. I think a lot of things actually just are natural, and it feels good. I don't know if there was any kind of improv or anything, but I enjoyed some of the punchlines. I enjoyed some of the jokes. The references are great. As far as the animation itself goes, I think it works. It's good. It's reminiscent of the comic strip era. I think it's going to look amazing. Hopefully we get a 4K edition of this. I think I could definitely tell some color pop out would be really, really beneficial here. And I like the movie. I did like it. I just didn't like the main plot. But I think, and I think overall, what works for me is the voice talent, the jokes. I think a lot of the writing is really spot on. And I've always been a big fan of Morticia and Gomez. Their romance has been great. And I feel that it definitely has a strong first half with that aspect, but then it kind of feels less so in the second half. I think there's less of that. It's more about, and I understand, but it's more about the family. But if you go back once again to the live actions, that's a strong theme throughout. And this one it starts out strong and then it's just kind of like, oh, we made you aware of it, but we're not gonna like beat it to death in the second half. I think that was kind of a mistake. I think you can't forget what brings you there, and just kind of, you don't have to hammer it home all the time, but you just, make sure it's present at least. It became more like they were the parents and less of like, about each other. I know it's kind of, at the end of the day, it's an animated feature. It's supposed to be for everybody. But I think the other iterations were able to do that, maintain that family focus, and, and it still kind of works. So I have mixed feelings about Addams Family. I think it does right more than it does wrong. Overall plot is very forgettable. I know Allison Janney was also our main quote-unquote villain, but I also didn't really care for her character in particular. I understood where they were coming from, but it just came off just kind of annoying at times. And the resolution to that was just weird. It was just, like, they didn't even show it. Like, it was just like, oh, she's like trying to stop everybody, and then all of a sudden she's kind of working with them at the end, and it's a thing. I don't know. I was really hoping they were going to go for like kind of a Debbie thing from Addams Family Values, and if they do a sequel, they very well could. I could see that happening, but overall, I liked it. I did like it. I think it's a 7 out of 10. It's definitely worth seeing. I was very surprised. I would have liked a little bit more of an edge to it, but once again, this is animated. I understand why they didn't, but it's still very overall good experience at the theater. So let me know in the comments below if you had a chance to check out the newest Addams Family in the animated form. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. I put out videos every single day. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.